Have you ever wondered why some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others struggle their entire lives, regardless of how hard they work? What if I told you the difference isn't luck, connections, or even education, but something much closer to home, the hidden garden of your own mind? But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. Stay with me until the end of this journey, because what you're about to discover might fundamentally change how you view prosperity forever. Deep within your being lies a fertile field, an invisible ground waiting to be sown with the right seeds. That field is your subconscious mind, and it's been silently shaping your financial reality all along. Think of every thought you have as a seed. Once planted in the sacred soil of your subconscious, these seeds inevitably sprout and grow into experiences, opportunities, and tangible realities in your life. This isn't metaphorical. It's the literal mechanism through which your inner world creates your outer circumstances. Has this ever happened to you? You worry about money, and suddenly more expenses appear. You fear scarcity, and somehow scarcity finds you. This isn't coincidence. It's cause and effect. For generations, we've been conditioned to believe a dangerous lie, that prosperity is a privilege reserved for a select few, those born into wealth, those with special education, those in high positions, or those somehow blessed by luck. This collective hypnosis has created entire populations resigned to meager wages, paralyzed by economic fear, and convinced that there simply isn't enough to go around. But I'm here to tell you this belief system is nothing but a mirage, a mental prison that has kept humanity chained to unnecessary limitation. The truth, which might surprise you when fully understood, is that abundance is your birthright, not just for some, but for everyone. The universe operates on principles of expansion, not contraction. Look at nature. Does it create with scarcity in mind? Does an apple tree produce just enough apples for itself? Does the sun shine only enough light for a few privileged planets? Your subconscious mind is where your beliefs, emotions, and ultimately your destiny are born. When it's programmed with thoughts of lack, it faithfully creates experiences of lack. But when you begin to plant different seeds, seeds of abundance, worthiness, and unlimited supply, this same faithful servant begins producing entirely different results in your life. What if everything you believed about wealth has been backward? What if struggle isn't noble but unnecessary? What if you've been trained to see limitation where only abundance truly exists? The fundamental spiritual truth that has been hidden from too many for too long is this: prosperity isn't something you achieve through endless striving. It's something you allow by removing the mental barriers you've inherited or constructed. As we continue our exploration into the principles of subconscious reprogramming for wealth attraction, you'll discover exactly how to transform the fertile soil of your mind from a garden of limitation into a paradise of abundance. The techniques I'm about to share have helped thousands reclaim their financial sovereignty. Ready to continue your prosperity journey? Subscribe to this channel now and join our growing community of conscious creators. Each week, I share powerful techniques for subconscious reprogramming that most prosperity teachers never reveal, from advanced visualization methods to spiritual solutions for specific financial challenges. By subscribing, you're not just following content, you're making a powerful declaration to your subconscious mind that you're committed to this transformation. You're creating a direct channel for these prosperity principles to regularly enter your awareness, reinforcing the new mental patterns we're building together. Remember, what you consistently expose your mind to becomes your reality. Make this channel part of your regular mental diet and watch how these principles begin manifesting in your life experience. Click subscribe now. It's a small action that signals a profound inner commitment to your prosperity consciousness. Your subscription isn't just supporting this channel, it's supporting your own journey toward abundance. Let's continue unlocking the limitless potential within your subconscious mind together. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic of true wealth, a concept that undergoes a profound transformation when viewed through the lens of spiritual truth. Many of us have been conditioned to equate wealth solely with money, bank balances, and possessions. But this mindset creates a narrow pathway that often leads to emptiness, even when financial goals are achieved. True wealth encompasses something far more expansive. It's a holistic experience that includes peace of mind when facing challenges, clarity of purpose that guides your decisions, relationships that nourish your soul, and yes, material sustenance in its proper measure. This journey toward abundance isn't about accumulating more, but about recognizing the completeness that already exists at your core. The revelation that changes everything is understanding that God, or if you prefer, the universe, universal mind, or source energy, is the only real provider. When this shifts from intellectual concept to lived experience, a profound awakening occurs. Nothing can truly be lacking to one who recognizes this infinite source as their provider, because unlike human systems which fluctuate and fail, this source is inexhaustible. Consider the wisdom hidden in plain sight within ancient teachings. "You shall have no other gods before me" isn't merely religious doctrine, it's practical clarity about where to place your faith. When we depend exclusively on salaries, clients, investments, or aid programs, we've unknowingly placed these temporary channels on the throne of our consciousness. These channels can change or disappear entirely, creating the roller coaster of anxiety so many experience. The principle of life itself, the unseen intelligence that keeps your heart beating without your conscious effort, that orchestrates billions of cellular functions every second, cannot be exhausted. This is the foundational mindset shift that separates those who experience lasting abundance from those caught in cycles of gain and loss. What's emerging is a completely different relationship with provision, one where you recognize channels may change, but the source remains constant. Write in the comments, source over channels, if this perspective is shifting something in your understanding right now. This understanding leads us to what I call the spiritual equation, a formula as precise as those governing chemistry or physics. Just as HO always produces water, the equation of correct idea plus intense feeling equals external form operates with unfailing consistency in our lives. The correct idea is recognizing the divine source as your ultimate provider, but that intellectual understanding alone isn't enough. The intense feeling, that deep, unwavering internal conviction, is what impresses this truth onto your soul and activates the manifestation process. Many dismiss this as merely positive thinking, but the transformation runs much deeper. When you deliberately draw visualizations of your needs flowing to you from an infinite source, you're not engaging in fantasy. You're conducting serious mental re-education. Your subconscious mind has been programmed for years, perhaps decades, with images of lack, struggle, and fear. Like any deep-rooted paradigm, it requires new nourishment through spiritually infused imagery that contradicts these limiting beliefs. The revelation here is that your conscious mind may understand abundance intellectually, while your subconscious remains locked in scarcity patterns. This disconnect creates the frustrating experience of knowing better, yet still manifesting limitation. The journey to alignment begins with recognizing this hidden barrier to your breakthrough. Consider the real-world impact of this approach. I remember a doorman in Brooklyn who discovered these principles during particularly challenging financial circumstances. Daily, he affirmed with conviction, "God is my boss. Supply comes from above." Though his salary remained modest initially, small improvements began materializing in his life. Unexpected bonuses appeared. A significantly better rental offer came his way, and remarkably, a scholarship opportunity emerged for his child's education. His employer hadn't changed, but his consciousness had, and the external world had no choice but to reflect that inner shift. This isn't isolated or anecdotal. It's the universal principle of consciousness creating form. The watershed moment in anyone's prosperity journey occurs when they realize they aren't victims of circumstance, but architects of experience. If you're beginning to sense this hidden power within yourself, write "conscious creator" in the comments below. To fully embrace this path of conscious creation, we need to reconsider our fundamental concept of the divine. Many have been raised with an image of God as a stern judge, tallying our errors and meting out punishment or reward. This outdated concept creates a relationship based on fear rather than connection. The enlightened understanding reveals God as the living source of all good, the principle of provision that knows no crisis or limitation. When this light of understanding illuminates our consciousness, the illusion of scarcity simply dissolves, not through struggle, but through recognition of what has always been true. This perspective shift isn't just one principle among many. It's the foundation upon which all authentic prosperity teachings must be built. Without firmly establishing God as the one true source, every other mental effort toward abundance becomes unstable, like building a magnificent structure on shifting sand. The blueprint for lasting transformation begins with this core recognition that transcends religious dogma and speaks to the universal law governing all creation. What makes this journey so challenging is that we live immersed in a sea of contrary suggestions that constantly reprogram our subconscious. The hidden truth behind most financial struggle isn't personal failure, but collective hypnosis. These programming inputs don't primarily come from our conscious decisions, but from casual conversations, news headlines, and cultural imagery we absorb without filtering. Like a sponge, the unawakened human mind absorbs these messages, creating a thick cloud of perceived lack that blocks the ever-present sun of abundance. This collective mind, operating under the influence of fear, has projected a screen of scarcity over millions. Think about the messaging that surrounds you daily: economic anxiety, resource depletion, competition for limited opportunities. Each exposure to these ideas reinforces neural pathways that generate more of the same experience. The remarkable revelation is that this hypnosis, though powerful, is entirely breakable when you understand the mechanism behind it. A journey of awakening begins with noticing these inputs and consciously choosing which seeds you'll allow into the fertile soil of your mind. If you're starting to recognize the scarcity programming in your daily environment, type "breaking free" in the comments as your declaration of independence from this collective trance. Now let's explore exactly how this scarcity hypnosis operates in our daily lives. The mechanism is surprisingly simple, yet devastatingly effective. It works through seemingly innocent channels, those casual negative statements we repeat without thinking. Money is always tight. The good opportunities are already taken. Things are getting worse, not better. Each utterance reinforces neural pathways of limitation. This hypnosis also infiltrates through alarming headlines that dramatize scarcity and crisis, programming our minds with visions of insufficiency. Perhaps most insidiously, it operates through the mental scenes automatically generated when we think about the future, images of struggle, shortage, and uncertainty that play like background music in our consciousness. A breakthrough insight is that awareness alone isn't enough to break this spell. Merely recognizing or denying negative patterns provides little lasting transformation. This is where the mental compensation technique becomes essential, a precise spiritual technology for rewiring your subconscious responses. When any image of lack appears in your mind, you must deliberately overlay a vivid, emotionally charged vision of abundance. Think of your mind as a movie screen where the film of scarcity has been playing. Simply turning off the projector leaves the screen stained. The only effective remedy is projecting a new, brighter, more compelling image. For example, when you overhear someone say, "Times are tough," immediately create a mental scene of prosperity, perhaps a bustling market with abundant goods and joyful exchanges. Feel yourself participating in this reality with genuine emotion. This isn't positive thinking. It's conscious reprogramming of your mental blueprint. To accelerate this transformation, I recommend creating what I call a cancellation phrases journal. Throughout your day, record every scarcity statement you hear or speak. This simple practice brings awareness to what was previously automatic. Each evening, review these phrases and consciously cancel each one with a powerful affirmation that directly contradicts the limitation. For I can't afford this. You might counter with everything I need flows to me easily from my divine source. Some find it powerful to symbolically burn these pages afterward, releasing these old agreements that no longer serve you. If you're ready to start your own cancellation journal and begin breaking free from these unconscious patterns, write "rewiring now" in the comments below. Another powerful tool for reprogramming your subconscious comes from ancient wisdom found in Psalm 23, when we read, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want," with deep emotional engagement rather than mere intellectual understanding. Something remarkable happens. Years of scarcity programming begin to dissolve at their roots. This isn't about religious devotion, but about accessing timeless truth that speaks directly to your deepest fears. Notice the profound contrast this psalm presents. While scarcity thinking screams, "Run, struggle, it's never enough," this ancient wisdom whispers, "Rest, trust, all is provided." The blueprint for transformation becomes clear when we understand that breaking free from limitation isn't a single event, but a practice requiring vigilance, repetition, and most importantly, positive emotion. When those moments of fear inevitably return, and they will as part of your journey, a powerful practice is to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and affirm with conviction, "This is only an old suggestion. I no longer accept it. I am free. I am supplied by the infinite love of God." This conscious interruption of old patterns creates new neural pathways that eventually become your default response. The revelation that changes everything is understanding that imagination isn't a childish distraction or escape from rational thought. It's the supreme creative instrument placed within humans by divine intelligence. This insight illuminates why visualization works with such precision. Everything that exists in your visible experience was first invisible. Everything tangible in your world was first a mental image sustained with emotion. Your home, your career, your relationships all began as thought forms before manifesting in physical reality. This understanding unveils the hidden mechanism behind all creation. The architect visualizes the building before the first stone is laid. The musician hears the melody before playing a note. The entrepreneur sees the thriving business before the doors open. This same principle governs your prosperity. Your imagination isn't fantasy. It's the workshop where your future is being constructed moment by moment. The quality of your mental imagery determines the quality of your manifestation. If you're beginning to recognize the creative power of your imagination as more than just daydreaming, type "divine imagination" in the comments as you prepare to harness this gift more deliberately. To harness this divine imagination effectively, I want to share with you the 4 essential steps that transform casual daydreaming into powerful creative visualization. This framework is the difference between wishful thinking and deliberate manifestation. It begins with relaxation, the gateway to subconscious communication. A tense mind is like turbulent water that can't reflect anything clearly. Before attempting visualization, take a moment to breathe deeply, allowing your body to soften from head to toe. This relaxed state opens the channel between your conscious intentions and the subconscious mind where transformation truly happens. The second step is clarity. Your subconscious doesn't respond to vague wishes like, "I want more money," or "I hope to prosper." It requires precise, detailed imagery. See yourself counting specific bills, receiving a particular amount, or paying that bill with ease, and having money left over. The more specific your mental movie, the more precise the blueprint you're providing to the creative forces within you. The third step, emotional immersion, is where the hidden power truly resides. Seeing the image isn't enough. You must feel its reality with every fiber of your being. Emotion is quite literally the electromagnetic mold of money and all other forms of abundance. What is not felt deeply cannot form in your experience. This is a fundamental revelation that explains why 2 people can use identical affirmations with dramatically different results. One speaks words, the other infuses those words with genuine feeling. Emotion is the divine fire in the human mind, the catalyst that transforms mental pictures into physical manifestations. Finally comes release, the surrender of your visualization to the invisible forces that bring it to form. After creating your scene with emotion, you must let it go with complete trust. This isn't abandonment. It's faithful expectation, like planting a seed and knowing it will grow without digging it up daily to check its progress. To integrate these steps into your life, establish a nightly visualization routine just before sleep when the mind is naturally more receptive to suggestion. For just 10 minutes, lie comfortably in darkness, breathe deeply, and immerse yourself in a concrete scene of your abundance already realized. Feel the associated emotions, the relief, joy, gratitude, then release it all and sleep with absolute certainty. If you're committing to start this nightly practice, write sacred 10 minutes in the comments as your declaration of this. New ritual. A visualization practice brings us naturally to another dimension of creative power, your spoken word. There's a profound truth that has been hidden in plain sight. The spoken word is not merely communication. It's creative energy in motion. Every word you speak with intention literally becomes woven into the fabric of your experience. This isn't mystical thinking, but a precise spiritual law captured in Proverbs 18:21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. This statement isn't metaphorical or poetic. It's describing a literal mechanism of the human soul. When you understand this principle, you begin to treat your words with sacred intention. Every complaint, criticism, or expression of lack doesn't simply describe your reality. It actively shapes it. Every time you say, "I can't afford that," or "I never get a break," you're issuing commands to your subconscious mind, which faithfully creates corresponding experiences. The enlightened approach is to speak only what you wish to experience, not what you currently observe. Speaking with faith is often misunderstood. It's not about volume or dramatic declarations. It's about speaking with genuine inner conviction. A single word spoken with firm awareness has more transformative power than 1,000 scattered, doubtful thoughts. Think of it this way. The word is the vehicle, but the emotion behind it is the load. Without emotional charge, words remain empty containers. This revelation leads us to the practice of morning decrees, powerful statements recited at the beginning of each day to align your mind, word, and emotion with prosperity. These aren't casual affirmations, but sacred commitments. Statements like, "Today my work prospers because I do it with joy and God blesses it," or "My words are seeds of gold. I plant them with faith and harvest abundance." Create a vibrational blueprint for your day. The key insight is understanding that these decrees aren't hopes for a distant future, but acknowledgments of a present truth that's waiting to be recognized. By speaking them with certainty each morning, you're establishing the internal conditions necessary for external manifestation. If you recognize the power of your words and are ready to speak with greater awareness, write "mindful speech" in the comments as your commitment to this transformative practice. The transformative power of these sacred words becomes even more evident when we look at real-world examples of ordinary people applying these principles. Consider the story of a seamstress I knew from the Bronx. Her workshop was modest, her clientele limited, yet she understood this profound truth about spoken creation. While sewing each garment, she would quietly affirm, "Each stitch is an affirmation of wealth. Each thread connects my thought to the source." She didn't change her location, invest in expensive advertising, or even raise her prices. She simply changed her words, and within a remarkably short time, her words changed her world. New clients began appearing, her reputation spread through the neighborhood, and opportunities emerged that previously seemed impossible. This brings us to another dimension of prosperity consciousness that remains widely misunderstood, what I call scientific gratitude. Most people have reduced gratitude to a social formality, or worse, a resigned acceptance of whatever scraps life has offered. But true gratitude, when properly understood, is actually a generative force, a powerful current that connects human thought directly to the source of all good. The revelation that changes everything is this: those who give thanks from a place of certainty rather than mere expectation already possess in the realm of cause what has not yet manifested in the realm of effect. When you express genuine gratitude for something before seeing physical evidence of it, you're making a profound metaphysical declaration. You're stating that you've already received it in the invisible plane of causes, and this declaration accelerates its appearance in the visible world of effects. This isn't positive thinking. It's aligning yourself with the creative process of the universe. This principle is beautifully illustrated in the biblical account from Luke 17, where Jesus healed 10 lepers. All 10 were physically healed when they obeyed his instruction to show themselves to the priests, but only one, a Samaritan, returned to give thanks. Jesus then made revealing statement, "Were not 10 cleansed? Where are the 9? Rise and go. Your faith has made you whole." All received physical healing, but only the grateful one received complete restoration. His gratitude sealed the process and closed the spiritual circuit. If you're beginning to see gratitude not as a polite response to good fortune, but as a creative force that precedes manifestation, write "grateful in advance" in the comments as your recognition of this transformative truth. This understanding of gratitude as a creative force introduces us to another revolutionary concept, what I call spiritual compound interest. Think about how money works in the financial world. When you save and reinvest both principal and interest, your wealth grows exponentially rather than linearly. This same principle operates in the realm of consciousness. When you acknowledge even the smallest provisions in your life with genuine gratitude, you generate a vibrational resonance that naturally attracts more to be grateful for. And when these new provisions are recognized and appreciated, a powerful acceleration begins, a true prosperity cascade. The breakthrough insight is that most people miss the small evidences of provision that are constantly appearing in their lives. They're waiting for the big windfall, the dramatic breakthrough, the life-changing opportunity, while overlooking the pennies, the unexpected discounts, the perfect parking space, the timely phone call. Yet these seemingly insignificant moments are actually the first fruits of your shifting consciousness, the initial responses to your prosperity prayers. This is why I recommend creating what I call a ledger of gratitude, a simple notebook where you record daily every unexpected manifestation of provision, no matter how small. Found a coin on the street? Write it down. Received a complimentary coffee? Document it. Got an unexpected discount? Record it. Each entry becomes a brick in the construction of your prosperity consciousness, training your perception to shift from complaint to celebration, from noticing what's lacking to recognizing what's already flowing. The revelation that transforms everything is understanding that gratitude does not follow manifestation. It precedes it. Gratitude is not the response to your good. It's the announcement of it, the emotional mold from which it takes form, the first fruit of what's to come. When visualizing any goal, whether it's increased income, a new home, or a desired relationship, always accompany your mental image with a profound feeling of gratitude, as if what you desire already exists in your inner world. This emotional stance declares to the universe that the transaction is complete in consciousness, awaiting only its physical expression. If you're starting to recognize how your gratitude creates, rather than just responds to your good, write "Grateful Creator" in the comments as an affirmation of this perspective shift. Now I want to explore a concept that radically transforms the prosperity journey. Something that might sound counterintuitive at first, but represents a profound insight into the circulation of abundance. It's called mental tithing. Most of us have heard about traditional monetary tithing, where you give a percentage of your income to worthy causes. But there exists a more powerful form that operates directly at the level of consciousness, dedicating at least 10% of your mental time to actively blessing and affirming good for others. This practice creates a fundamental shift in your energetic relationship with prosperity. The hidden truth behind abundance is that it operates according to the law of circulation. Where there is circulation, there is growth. Where there is stagnation, there is lack. Most struggling with financial limitation are unconsciously trapping their energy in closed mental loops, focused entirely on their own needs and problems. The practical application of mental tithing comes through what I call a weekly directed blessings calendar. This is a simple yet transformative tool, A 7-day schedule where each day you designate a different group to receive your focused mental blessing. Monday might be neighbors in your building. Tuesday, local shopkeepers. Wednesday, teachers in your community. Each day, you spend just 10 minutes visualizing these individuals or groups, experiencing harmony, growth, and unexpected abundance. What makes this practice so powerful is that it activates a spiritual equation. What you give, you think. What you think, and what you create, you ultimately receive. When you direct genuine thoughts of prosperity toward others, you're simultaneously programming your own consciousness with these same vibrations. This isn't manipulation. It's alignment with the universal flow. Perhaps the most profound revelation about mental tithing is how it liberates the mind from silent selfishness. Many believe they're on a spiritual path because they pray, meditate, or engage in other practices. But if all these efforts remain self-centered, focused only on improving their own condition, they remain trapped in a closed system. The law of prosperity rewards cooperation and circulation, not solitary pursuit. True abundance flows when you become a channel rather than merely a reservoir. If you're ready to transform your relationship with abundance by becoming a conscious blessing to others, write channel not reservoir in the comments below. Now I want to explore a dimension of prosperity that transforms the very fabric of your daily existence, the sacred art of consecrating your work. One of the most limiting beliefs in our culture is the idea that spirituality belongs only in temples or meditation spaces, that mundane daily labor is somehow separate from divine connection. But the illuminating truth is that every human activity can become prayer, every occupation can be an altar when approached with consciousness. The cashier, the mechanic, the parent preparing meals, none are engaged in activities separate from the spiritual path when they elevate their mind while their hands are working. This perspective radically transforms your relationship with daily tasks. You don't need to abandon your hammer, your laptop, your broom, or your kitchen to live in communion with the infinite. The sacred and the everyday aren't separate realms. They're unified when you bring heightened awareness to each action. This is the true meaning behind pray without ceasing. Not formal prayer throughout the day, but the consecration of every mundane act through conscious intention. The practical application comes through what I call the hammer prayer, a simple yet profound practice where you accompany each repetitive action with a brief, powerful affirmation. Each hammer strike becomes God provides. Each keystroke becomes my work flourishes. Each sweep of the broom becomes abundance flows freely. The physical action provides rhythm while the mind creates meaning. Your workday transforms from mere labor into metaphysical sowing, each movement planting seeds of prosperity in the subconscious soil. This consecration of work creates a ripple effect that eventually reaches the most important arena for manifestation, your home. True prosperity isn't the fleeting state of having extra cash. It's an extended harmony whose most solid manifestation occurs in the domestic sphere. A genuinely prosperous home isn't necessarily the one with expensive furnishings, but the one where thoughts, feelings, and words move in unity toward good. When your living space becomes aligned energetically, when it reflects and amplifies your prosperity, consciousness rather than contradicting it, manifestation accelerates dramatically. If you're starting to see how your daily work and home environment can become sacred vessels for prosperity consciousness rather than obstacles to it, write sacred every day in the comments as your recognition of this transformative perspective. The transformation of your home into a center of prosperity leads us to an often overlooked principle, the family mental agreement. This concept is rooted in the profound spiritual teaching from Matthew 18:19. If two of you agree on earth about anything they ask, it will be done for them by my Father in heaven. This isn't merely poetic language, but a precise formula for manifestation. When two or more minds align around the same vision with emotional unity, their combined creative power becomes exponentially greater. Most prosperity seekers make a critical error. They study affirmations, practice visualization, and maintain faith individually, while their spouse or family members continue expressing fear, doubt, or scarcity thinking. This creates energetic contradiction in the home's atmosphere. True family prosperity requires alignment, not just in words, but in emotional, visual, and mental unity toward the same image of well-being. When everyone in your household holds the same vision of abundance, the manifestation accelerates dramatically. This understanding naturally leads us to another dimension of prosperity consciousness that transforms one of the most feared aspects of financial life: debt. For those who understand spiritual law, debts are not the burdensome chains most perceive them to be, but rather instruments of spiritual growth and opportunities to redeem. Consciousness. Every bill that arrives in your mailbox is actually a testimony that someone, whether an individual or institution, has believed in your capacity to keep your word, a profound act of trust. This perspective shift removes the heavy emotional weight most associate with financial obligations. When you begin seeing your debts not as punishments, but as sacred opportunities to demonstrate integrity, something remarkable happens. They begin to dissolve with greater ease. This is where the mental payment technique becomes invaluable. Before physically paying any debt, first pay it mentally. Take the bill in your hands, close your eyes, and vividly visualize this obligation already settled. Feel the genuine relief and satisfaction, then affirm with conviction: this account is settled in the invisible realm. This debt is canceled with joy, in harmony, and effortlessly for the good of all involved. If you're beginning to see your financial obligations not as burdens, but as opportunities for consciousness expansion, write "debt redemption" in the comments as your recognition of this liberating perspective. Now I want to explore a commonly misunderstood aspect of the prosperity journey: the true nature of faith. Many have been taught that faith is essentially passive, a kind of elegant resignation, a quiet belief without action, a mental assent to abstract truths that has little practical consequence in daily life. This fundamental misunderstanding has robbed countless sincere seekers of their manifestation power. The revelation that changes everything is that authentic faith is dynamic, vibrant, and electric. It doesn't wait passively. It responds. It doesn't merely contemplate an ideal. It rises and embodies it. True faith becomes the active channel through which invisible good flows into visible experience. This is the faith that moves mountains, not through mystical drama, but through aligned consciousness expressed in decisive action. The divine formula operates with mathematical precision. Prayer serves as the initial impulse. Intuition becomes your personalized guidance system, and action provides the essential confirmation that completes the circuit. After praying with conviction and emotional resonance, the critical next step is remaining in receptive silence, because divine guidance rarely arrives as thunderous revelation. Instead, it whispers through subtle impressions, seemingly random ideas, or gentle nudges toward unexpected directions. Those who learn to trust and act on these whispers discover the hidden pathway to manifestation. This understanding naturally leads us to a practical framework, what I call the 30-day plan toward inner wealth. This isn't another quick fix program, but rather a systematic journey designed to move these prosperity principles from intellectual understanding into lived experience, working simultaneously with thought, emotion, visualization, and aligned action over 30 consecutive days. Literally rewires your neural pathways, dissolves long-standing resistances, and establishes a prosperity consciousness that no external circumstance can displace. What makes this approach different from typical manifestation practices is its comprehensive nature, addressing not just what you think, but how you feel, what you envision, and most importantly, how you act. This integration creates an unshakable inner foundation from which outer abundance naturally flows. Just as a bodybuilder doesn't transform their physique through occasional workouts, prosperity consciousness requires dedicated training to reach its full potential. If you recognize that true faith requires not just belief, but integrated action, write "faith in motion" in the comments to declare your commitment to this dynamic understanding. As we bring this exploration of subconscious wealth programming to a close, I want to thank you for joining me on this journey through the invisible mechanisms of prosperity. What we've covered today isn't just information. It's transformation waiting to happen in your own life. The principles Emmett Fox shared decades ago remain as potent now as they were then, because they address the timeless laws governing consciousness and manifestation. I've created this channel specifically to uncover these hidden spiritual truths that most prosperity teachers never discuss. Each week, I share another dimension of this inner technology, from advanced visualization techniques to spiritual solutions for specific financial challenges. If you've found value in today's insights, subscribing is simply a way to ensure these teachings continue appearing in your experience, reinforcing your new prosperity consciousness. The journey we've begun together is just the first step. If these principles have resonated with your inner knowing, if something within you recognized the truth of what we've discussed, leave a comment saying, "Consciousness creates form," to let me know you've integrated these concepts at a deeper level. Your like on this video isn't just appreciation, it's an affirmation that you're participating in spreading this liberating message to others who may be struggling under the weight of limitation consciousness. I've prepared another exploration that builds directly on these foundations, revealing the exact process for dissolving specific money blocks that may still be operating in your subconscious. Click the video appearing now to continue expanding your prosperity consciousness. The journey gets even more practical and powerful from here.